out there and doing international business. So I hope you can join us for that. So let's get on to our panel discussion. Again, we have David Turo from Turo Metals, Jennifer Rieske from Natech Plastics. I see we have Joe Spinoza, East West Industries, and also we have Jay Mulhall from CPI Aero. So let's start the conversation with David Turo. Dave, maybe you can give us a quick update as to how the novel coronavirus has impacted your business.
We were hit extremely hard from late March through the first week and a half of April. We had everybody tested. We have 65 employees in 2 facilities in Brentwood. In Brentwood, we have in the community about a 5% at 50 out of 1,000 people were tested positive for COVID. Central Islip is probably the second worst place, so we were at ground zero, I would say, on the island. And we have a lot of families that work here, including my own family. And out of 60 some odd people who were tested, 24 of us were positive.
Oh, wow.
We had 1 death, and nobody else went to the hospital. So, thank God. It could have been worse, with 1 hospitalization. We shut down from the first incident that we had. We shut down almost immediately. We're down for 3 weeks. Got with several outside sources, such as your firm, also with an HR consulting firm. Had phenomenal support, unbelievable support overnight. We within a week and a half, we came up with guidelines way, I think, ahead of what the state now has implemented. Just by reading and seeing what other people had done around the world, and putting a bunch of heads together and made a commitment to have the plant open by April 22nd. We reopened on April 22nd. It took us 3 to 4 weeks to ramp up to full production. But I'm proud to say that, by mid-May, we were back and had tremendous support from our staff, from the community, and from our customers. And thank God our business held up. I mean, a lot of people they have the problem of not having, customers to return to. But we needed to get back in business. If we stop making parts, we'll shut down the truck production in North America in about 4 weeks. We make a lot of parts for the truck and aftermarket car part industry, and so for us, restarting was not an option. Not restarting and not figuring out what to do to get started in a safe manner was not an option, because we got to feed people. So through deliveries. So if anybody, that's where we are, Ron.
Okay, all right. Jennifer, how did the COVID impact Natech Plastics? Got to unmute you.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
You can hear me now? Okay, great. So in the beginning, we implemented, it was impactful. I mean, we were all concerned, but we implemented some cleaning procedures right away, which I believe helped. Where we have, right now we have every shift, we have somebody clean. We also, on a bi-weekly basis, we have people, a company come in, and they spray down everything, the high touch areas and the offices and keyboards and whatnot. Also, those individuals that are responsible for their own workstation, they clean theirs daily. We did have 2 cases. We do have people from the Brentwood Central Islip area. So, that's a concern. And I do like the idea of getting someone in to speak with them again regarding how to protect themselves and how to keep themselves at home and not spread the coronavirus. So what did we do? We acted fast, which was very good. I think we took things seriously. We developed a team right away on how to manage the what ifs. There's always a lot of what ifs. What if this happens? What if somebody gets sick? What do we do? How do we prepare for that? Or how can we prevent that? So we developed ways to do that right in the beginning, right before, I want to say even before we had the guidelines, put a mask on, wash your hands and all that. And what we also do is, when we have people come in, they wash their hands immediately. We have procedures set up for that where they wash their hands immediately. They take their temperature. So we kind of have went above and beyond from the get-go. We were able to get those supplies and implement those safety measures. So I think that was really effective, and it made the employees feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very important thing. Nobody, like I've spoke to some people outside and they're just, oh, my company, they didn't prepare us well enough. We didn't even get face masks. We didn't have hand sanitizer and all that. So I got to say, the quick movement of, implementing these actions right away was really beneficial. Even you see, I got some feedback from the team even saying that, like, they couldn't have done it without the support of management, whether it was financing it or the quick response. And they were never second guessed. All the opinions and thoughts and ideas were taken into consideration, and then we kind of acted on them immediately.
That's awesome. That's actually a really good point to make, because I know a lot of manufacturers we've talked to is the biggest problem they're having is getting people to show up to work because they've either been exposed or they're afraid to come to work to get exposed. So good for you.
We did have some employees that had folks at home, older individuals where they were concerned or asthmatic or those kind of folks. So they were given the option, you can come or you can go. So we were very flexible with our employees. A lot of us, some of the folks had, when they shut down the schools, we also had to work from home. So that was another, not a hardship with our company, because it was like, okay, well, you need a computer at home or you need a desk set up. Okay, well, we'll make that happen. And we made it happen right away. So it was like, there was no lag in that.
Right. Okay.
So
very good.
It's an investment to keep up, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Joe Spinoza from East West, would you mind giving us a quick update as to how the COVID has hit you and what you guys have been doing to combat it?
Well, basically, obviously our first focus is on the safety of our employees. Obviously, when you heard everything, and then the different New York State requirements started rolling out, we immediately started looking at how to reduce the head count on site. Obviously, the only folks that we wanted to see on site were we have assembly, machine shop, sheet metal, engineering, quality, back office support, accounting. So the folks that could work off site, we reduced them off immediately and had everybody work from home that could. The folks that were coming in, we did spread them out, maintain distancing, education, and face coverings, etc. We have service come in and do deep cleaning, and we have cleaning occur on a daily basis as well. So that's about the basics. It's obviously education, bringing the employees together to let them know, what the game plans are and how we're going to respond to things. New York State made it a little bit interesting, kind of doing these rolling changes as they're going along. So a little bit of keeping up, monitoring the governor's website for executive orders and what was coming out, and trying to stay up with them, because they seem to happen on okay, we announced it the night before, we're enacting it.
Right.
So
yeah, lots of last minute change
notifications,
requirements. Yeah. Jay Mulholland, can you just give us a quick update on CPI Aero as to how the COVID's impacted you and how you responded?
Yeah, great. Thanks for hosting here. We're doing pretty well at CPI Aero. We from the get-go, we had instituted the IT changes necessary to have all of our office folks that were not critical to be in the factory to be able to work remotely from home. We did, similar to Joe mentioned, we split our our shop workforce into 2 shifts. So we had a day shift and a night shift to further social distance all of the workers. And we did a complete analysis of all the workstations and tried to get as much space between all the different workbenches and fixtures. Provided hand sanitizer and face masks. A lot of HR communication, daily notes were going out to every employee. We had a remote calling, like a robocall out to all employees. We instituted a questionnaire that every employee had to answer every day, and we're still doing that today. The standard CDC questions, and really been promoting safety first and health of our employees. We did have a handful of cases in the shop, and instituted our own contact tracing to make sure we were able to figure out who was around those employees, and we had everybody stay home and do the mandatory quarantining if they were in contact with anybody who tested positive. But we were essential throughout. Predominant amount of our business is supporting the defense industry. So we've been working all the way through the pandemic, and just now starting to implement return to the office. Lots of changes, both in the office spaces as well as the factory, in terms of minimal contact surfaces that are going to be common to employees other than the restroom. We've closed our dining room. We've actually turned our dining center into kind of a spaced out workspace. So we brought people's computers and their necessary information out to open table areas just to further provide social distancing. I think I'll cut it off there, and if there are any questions, we can address it later.
Great, thank you, Jay. So Dave, maybe you could tell me what worked especially well and what you tried that just wasn't working for you as far as protecting, your employees from COVID.
So, we were in a situation where, first of all, we had to make sure everyone returned to work safely. First, and so part of our pandemic response plan was a few things, and one was the return to work policy. Everyone had to be pre-screened. We worked with physicians, and again, there was some lack of, I would say, consensus on when a person is supposed to come back. So we erred on the side of caution. So everyone, before they came back, had to be approved and cleared to return to work. You had to regain everybody's confidence. So that was something that we had to do, and that was very, very important. There was constant dialogue, and we had to bring people back also when we were ready for them. As I think Jay mentioned, we had to change a lot of things around in the meantime. So during the shutdown period, we had to assess where people worked, and we could only handle, groups of 10. Everybody was in a 2-hour training before they were even allowed basically to go to their workspace. On the policy, on what we had done in the facility, there were concerns about how we had cleaned it. We had to, communicate that to them. And what we did, which I think worked really well, was immediately train them. There was some misinformation we all had. Kristen was very helpful with that, on the use of gloves, on the use of masks, how to properly use a mask. Real granular. I mean, lives matter. We saw it firsthand. We had complete buy-in because it hit us so hard. So, there was total cooperation and a lot of good questions. And